Welcome everyone. Today we have our student Dr. Varun Lakmani with us. He is here to share his challenges as he saw it during the match journey. He had a successful match. So we'll just dive straight into it and talk with him. So welcome Varun.
Hi, Pawan. Great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So let's start off with your introduction, a background about your overall USMLE journey.
Sure. So my pursuit of USMLE started from my second year of med school, but till about final year to internship, I was kind of on and off about whether the US was really the place to pursue my residency or not. After I completed my internship and graduated from Calcutta, where I'm originally from, I gave my USMLE Step 1 and Step 2 within a span of 9 months. After that, due to the COVID ban, I found myself not being able to secure a visa. So I got some tele rotations in and simultaneously tried to apply for a research position. And from July onwards, last year in 2021, I worked as a research fellow at Mayo, which I'm currently doing up till now, till the time I switched to my residency program.
Okay, thank you. So now let's talk about the specific challenges you faced as an applicant in COVID. Could be exams, could be USCE research. What were those challenges and how did you overcome these?
Sure. So after giving my USMLE Step 2, I was quite confused as to how I could get US clinical experiences, since that is really important to get residency interviews and ultimately be considered for ranking. So for me, I think tele rotations were the best bet since the COVID had really spiked up in my home country in India. I definitely consulted Sarthi during that time. With USMLE Sarthi, I did about 2 tele rotations, and I did another tele rotation through another company called Brooklyn USCE. So in total, I got about 3 tele rotations. For me, I didn't know exactly how tele rotations would work for me, but I just knew that I needed about 3 to 4 US letters just to get through the filter for programs, and that ultimately mattered for me.
Okay. So one was the challenge of getting USCE during the COVID, and you made it work with tele rotations, which is actually a big achievement because many students cannot just do it with tele rotations. What were the other challenges in the journey? Was lack of research driving you to Mayo, or what were some of the other challenges that you identified and worked on?
So definitely lack of research was something which I found deficient in my application. And I knew that I at least needed to learn, at least needed to show how I know how to do research or learn the methodology behind it. I was never driven towards securing any publication in the form of a case report or review before match. I felt that if I knew a basic understanding of how a research project works, and if I'm actually in the US getting an experience like that, I think that mattered the most to me. So I reached out to my mentor at Mayo, and he was grateful enough to offer me a position of research fellow there.
Okay. Now let's talk about some of the other aspects of the journey, whether it is the challenge of putting the application together or just going through the interview cycles. What were some of the things you identified in those aspects?
Sure. So what I actually did about 3 months, 2 to 3 months before the applications opened up was I actually created a checklist or a spreadsheet for programs that I was really interested in.
I see.
And I actually started reaching out to programs even 2 months before the applications opened up. I actually attached a tracker associated with these emails, and whenever the emails were opened and my email was read, or sometimes the program coordinators even replied to my emails, I would express my interest to the program, letting them know that I'll be applying this year. And I used to get sometimes I used to get replies like we'll be on the lookout for your application and stuff like that. So I feel that earlier on, trying to make contact with programs is something which really helps you during as the applications even open up. Secondly, the thing which I did, which I thought helped me, was to get step 3 done. So as soon as I got I got to the US in July. By mid-August, I was prepared for my step three exam, and I gave it by the first week of September. And I actually ensured that I had my step three score before the applications. The deadline. I reached the deadline for the applications. I felt that these two were the pretty good reasons why I got a decent amount of interviews.
Okay. Now let's talk about interview preparation and challenges around it. So, how did you go about interview preparation? How was the Sarthi peer group and mock interviews helpful? And then, what do you think programs look for as they are interviewing applicants?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question, I would say. Definitely, Sarthi was the central tool which I used for preparing for my interviews. I definitely started off with watching your videos about the interview prep and how you should discuss with every student how what the theme behind every answer is and how the approach should be. And after a point, I felt that if I knew the basic reasoning behind why the question was asked and how do you actually frame your answers, I think the content of the question mattered less. More with the way of how you answered it and what the thought process is. I think people uh, really value the clarity of thought and the point you're trying to portray as a person, especially with the behavioral questions. So that actually, I think, made a big impact on my interview preparation. Uh, then definitely booking a mock session with Sarthi. I think Dr. Patrick was really helpful during my mock interview. Uh, so I think that session really just put my confidence really high. And I think before interview started, I think I was ready to give my best. And I feel that Sarthi adequately prepared me to understand what programs are looking for when you answer these questions, rather than just say this, and this. Because oftentimes as we all understand, there is no right or wrong to any answer in the interview prep. So I think this is how Sarthi would has helped me.
Okay. Let me take you back to your research experience. How important in the interviews was this research discussion? What did they want to know about your research, if at all anything?
Sure. I think being active during interviews is something which is really important, either in the form of any clinical commitment or research. Since I was doing research, the interview would just start off with, where are you calling in from? And so currently you're doing research, tell me more about it. Or, which aspect of research are you doing? What kind of research you're doing? Is it prospective? Is it retrospective? So oftentimes I had put stuff in my CV, but as I was being continuously involved, the number of projects I was involved with also changed, and my role in terms of even IRB submission or basic IRB how to write an IRB protocol or how to classify a research project. I think these skills really impressed program directors when I told them that I've completed the models for human subject protection or the basic submission of a project to the IRB, and they used to value these skills, even though they used to value these skills all throughout. I mean, one would assume that maybe a community program would not value research, but on the contrary, I felt that they valued research as well, because at the end of the day, what my point was to prove to even community programs was that by learning this methodology, I can actually conduct research on my own, and be active in research during residency as well, even though it's going to be hectic. So I think that carried a commitment towards the specialty and made them reassured that internal medicine was the desired specialty for me, because my
Excellent.
research was in question for all the
Yeah,
things. So
so that's a very important point that you bring up, that it is not that the community programs hate research, right? It's a lot of, there is a lot of misconception that community programs don't like research and also. Thank you for clarifying that. Now, if you were to summarize, there are applicants who are going to match this season and the next. So if you were to summarize your top kind of tips for applicants to follow in the coming seasons, what would those be?
I would say, first of all, irrespective of if you're a recent or an old graduate, irrespective of your scores, I would say get that step three done in time
Mhm.
before the application goes in. I think it just makes you a less liable candidate, and it just makes it easier for the program to rank you. Secondly, I would recommend that you should be in the US, being clinically or involved in research during interviews or application cycle. I think that is monumentally important during the interviews and the ranking season. Third of all, I would say is that you really need to have a target zone for your programs, and you can apply as broad as you want, but there should be a core list of 30 to 40 programs which you must be having, and you must reach out as soon as possible with your application so that they know that you're really interested, and you should keep an open thread of communication with them.
Okay. Well, thank you, Varun. This is very, very helpful. I think your tips will motivate and guide a lot of IMGs. So thank you, and
Sure.
good luck for your residency.
Thank you so much, Pawan. Great
Thank
to be
you.
here.
Bye.